In the heart of a bustling city, where thousands walked by without a second glance, there sat an old, frail man on the cold pavement. His clothes were tattered, his face marked with the hardships of time, and his eyes, though weary, held a depth of sorrow that no one seemed to notice. Beside him stood a broken, weathered piano, its once polished keys now chipped and faded. Most people hurried past, too busy to care. Some tossed a few coins into his tin can without even looking. But when he played, the world seemed to stop. His fingers, trembling yet graceful, danced over the keys, breathing life into the battered instrument. The melody was hauntingly beautiful, so full of pain, love, and longing that even the noisiest streets fell silent for a moment. One evening, a young man named Daniel was walking home from work when he heard the music. He had passed this street many times, but had never really stopped. Until now. There was something about this tune. Something almost familiar. The way the notes wept, the emotion behind every chord, it was unlike anything he had ever heard. Curious, he approached the old man and asked, "That song, what is it called?" The old pianist stopped, his fingers hovering over the keys. He looked up, and for the first time someone truly saw him. His lips trembled as he whispered, "It doesn't have a name," because it was never finished. Daniel felt a chill run down his spine. "Who wrote it?" he asked softly. The old man gave a bittersweet smile. "I did," he said. Daniel's breath caught in his throat. You're a composer?" The pianist let out a deep sigh, his eyes distant, lost in the memories of a life that once was. "A long time ago, before the world forgot me." He then told his story, a story of talent, of success, of a dream that once soared higher than the stars. His name was Alexander Monroe, once a renowned pianist who graced the grandest concert halls. His music touched souls. His name was spoken with reverence. He had everything: fame, fortune, and the love of his life, Elise. But then, tragedy struck. A car accident took Elise from him, shattering his heart into a million pieces. In his grief, he withdrew from the world, drowning in sorrow, unable to play the piano without feeling the ache of her absence. He abandoned his career, his home, his dreams, everything. He had written a song for Elise, one that was meant to be their masterpiece, their legacy. But when she died, so did the music inside him. The song was never finished. Years passed, and life was cruel. One misfortune after another led him to the streets, where he had remained ever since, playing only for ghosts of the past. Daniel listened, his heart breaking with every word. The thought of such a brilliant artist, discarded by the world, forgotten by those who once praised him, was too painful to bear. Tears welled in his eyes as he made a decision. This man's music would not be lost to time. The next day, Daniel returned, but Alexander was gone. His piano remained, but the seat was empty. Panicked, Daniel searched everywhere. Hours passed before he finally found him, lying weakly in a hospital bed, his body frail, his breath shallow. Doctors said he had been sick for weeks, but no one had noticed. No one had cared. With shaking hands, Daniel pulled out his phone and played a recording of Alexander's song, the one he had played on the streets. "I found a producer," he whispered. "Your music will live on." A single tear rolled down Alexander's cheek. With the last of his strength, he reached out, fingers barely touching Daniel's hand. "Finish it. For Elise," he whispered, and with that, the old pianist closed his eyes and never opened them again. Soft piano music fades out, replaced by silence. That night, for the first time in years, the city was silent. The homeless pianist was gone, but his music, his love, and his unfulfilled dream lived on. Because some stories, some melodies, are too powerful to be forgotten.